Thank you very much, Minister, for your encouraging words. Now I'd like to kindly invite the Director of Jožef Stefan Institute, Professor Dr. Jadran Lenarčič, to have welcome speech. Dr. Lenarčič, please.
Thank you, dear Minister, dear friends. Welcome on behalf of the Jožef Stefan Institute. As I understand, this is a BOC conference. I explained when I was young visiting professor in UK in '92, I was invited to a party. The invitation said, among other things, BOB. This meant bring your own bottle. For today's conference, we could say bring your own coffee. I just spilled it over the table 2 minutes ago, so it's not very nice. Given that this is my last opening of this conference, I'm currently emptying my office. I finished my 3rd term as director of the Institute. I can afford a few words on technology transfer history at our Institute. So I can start with what it was like in 1980s. I was employed in '79. Amazingly, there was substantial demand of industry in those days for collaborations. I was involved in the development of first robots. There were many journalists around. I was used to say, this is the result of domestic development. That was the political motto at the time. Why? Because the imports were limited, so we needed to develop everything by ourselves. Consequently, at the Institute, the applied and the fundamental research were balanced. In '90s, things changed badly. In industry, the interest of collaboration has declined almost to zero. The economic crisis caused by the loss of Yugoslav market has taken away development departments in many companies. Businesses were saving the skin, and so were we. There was neither time nor money to collaborate. We lost charge from year to year, and eventually the know-how also deteriorated. Paradox, 2 most successful spin-offs were funded by our institute, as well as the technology park of Jožef Stefan Institute, which later became the technology park of Ljubljana. So immediately after 2000, the economy began to recover. I was convinced that the conditions for cooperation between academia and industry would also grow. That didn't happen. The impetus was given to privatization of companies. There was very little interest in technological development and investment in science. When I became director in 2005, I set out to solve this problem. But after the first results, the first 2-3 years, the global economic crisis hit us and pushed everything back. After 2010, we struggled to save our skin again. Public money for science fell sharply, and in the field of technology transfer, even to pure zero. I speak about years 2014 and 2015. During this time, our CTT center started operating, led by Dr. Špela-Stres, which made important steps mainly in the field of intellectual property. It was around 2017 when the situation began to improve. Unfortunately, during the crisis, Slovenia fell on the scale of technological development. I have often reminded our politicians that this will happen. On the other hand, it was very positive that the industry became aware of the importance of technological development and cooperation with science. This put pressure on politicians. They finally began to pay more attention to this area. In the following years, everything looked good, although we were significantly behind compared to Austria, for example. Now, in 2020, we were caught by a piece of protein that is on the edge between living and non-living, which we call virus. What happens next remains to be seen. The state will have to pursue a very sensible strategy in this area. As a specialist of robotics, I remember one economist reported a few years ago that robots in Europe would take away thousands of jobs. The numbers were even calculated. Every journalist later asked me about it. I argued that it is not true and that robots create new jobs. COVID provided the proof. How many millions of jobs have been saved in Europe precisely because of robotics and automation these days? So technology is important. So let me finish here. I wish you a fruitful conference and many more years to come. Thank you.